Good morning, Rabbi Isaiah. Leah nishmat simi mirasi ruspas Mordechai. Today's shir is sponsored by Yossi Klein from Superior Plumbing in Monsey. Doron Kornbluth is back with us, Baruch Hashem. After sitting Shiva, it's probably even Shloshim already, is it? Almost, a couple days. He just told me that the hardest thing for him, being a Oinen and everything else in Shiva, is not learning the daf. He just told me that. It's MS. He caught up to the emails. It's unbelievable. I just got these today. 3 pictures today. Look, it's a revolution in travel, a revolution in life. These are the Hasidic Chevre from Borough Park, Eli Stefansky, on the way to Mezhvish, learning in the lounge in the airport. This is Suri Goldstein, same flight, same thing, learning on the plane, the daf. And we have Michal Lager, who just left yesterday. He was here for a while. Also, doing Chazara with the 8-minute daf mask. I have to ask him because he's on a United flight. I had that $50 Sonova mask. You know what I'm talking about? Synovia or something like that. It has like copper, blah, blah. No, sir. You have to wear a regular mask. But over here, the 8-minute daf one seems to go. Traveled on United, did Chazar of the past few daf. It was so special to be in the base measures with all the MDY family and do the daf. I'll be online, but miss the in-person experience. Kol Tov, Micha. What did I just do? I might have put away the email. Oh, here we go. Huh? Yeah. Shalom Aleichem. How are you? What's your name? Esther. From? Around here? Yeah. Shalom Aleichem. Welcome. This is Rabbi Isai. We're in business. We have a joystick now for the camera operator. You know you made it big when you have a camera operator with a joystick and they're playing your shir in a shuttle, the Lakewood shuttle. Check it out from Shalom Eggert. Good morning, Harav. As a shuttle driver in Lakewood, driving people to yeshiva on a daily basis, I play the shir over the PA system. While we were stuck in traffic, we all love it. As a matter of fact, there's one Zaidi on the bus who started learning every day only because of your shir. My passengers did have one request. They asked if you're in the end, raise it. Highest volume, strength to hear. Rabbi, we have to buy them like a TV. I know it's a Lakewood shuttle, we have to get them like a screen. They can watch it. I think they're only listening to it. Keep up the great work. I hope they're watching also the regular shir as well. Keep up the great work. Be Mechazik Yisrael. And hey, if you're ever in Lakewood, come ride the bus. And give your share on the bus as well. Best regards, Shalom Eggert. Rabbi, I think we should do it. Share on the bus. This is the safari, the share in the safari. Share on the Lakewood shuttle. Yeah. To be repeated. Noam fixed. Hainu hach. You understand? You don't want to understand that. But Yishkoyach Mati Grunberg for schlepping this. This is like a whole suitcase. It's pretty heavy. Give this to Gary. Maybe he can start using a watch. In the middle of the shir, the cameras go down. No, you know what? I'm keeping this. I don't trust that guy. We have plenty of time, right? Yossi Saunders. Hi, Rebelli. I don't know if I should read this. I was in Harry Potter World on Friday. Mazel. You know what this is? What's universal? 6 Flags. We don't know from these things. We don't know. And saw how all the magic in the films is just smoke and mirrors. I had a realization about your shir when you put the red string on the goat last week. You pulled it back up until the red and said how the oilam clear. When I threw off the goat off the thing and it didn't turn to white, you said the oilam clear that wasn't holy enough to make it white. You should have had another goat with white string waiting under the table. You would have looked like a true wizard when you pulled it out, at least kind of. Anyway, I got that goat from America. It wasn't like something I could get. Great idea. If I would have thought about it in advance, I might have been able to do something else. All right. Rabbi Isai, here we go. Today is Daf Mem Vav. And we're holding on Daf Mem Vav. Believe it or not. Doesn't usually happen like that, but we're holding. 2 lines down. Omar Rebbe Lazar Mishum Bar Kapara. So, to review. Said according to Meir, there are 4 ma'arachos on the Mizbeach. Where's the Mizbeach? I'll just take the Mizbeach. Thank you. The 4 ma'arachos, the 4 flames, the ma'arach g'dola, the large one. As you walk up the Mizbeach, it's, if you walk up the ramp, you go to the right. Yeah, we don't need it. Forget it. It's right over here, the large one. Now, what do you do on the large one? You put all your korbanos, everything else. Then you have the shniya, and that's for ketores. You take the coals off of the second one, that's on the left, towards Ma'ariv, facing Kodesh HaKodashim. Take that for the coals of the ketores every day. Third one, kiyum eish. Here's a third one. That's if something happens to the fire here, it starts extinguishing, you take fire from this one. Says Reb Meir, I have a 4th one. Every day I have a 4th one. It's called Evarim Shaloi Nisaklu. If you have meat from korbanos that wasn't completely consumed, I start another flame, another fire, and I throw it on there. So that's Reb Meir. And on Yom Kippur, everybody agrees there's another fire. So Reb Meir on Yom Kippur would have 5, others would have 4, 3, 2, 3. 3 is the least. Says the Gemara, so he's going to say now a pshat sort of in Reb Meir. He's going to say what Reb Meir holds, and there's 2 parts to it. Here's the first part. Every oyla shenitaisru, you have an oyla, carbon tamid, you have leftover meat. You make another flame. If we stop right here, is there any chiddush in what we just said? Yes. Not according to what we learned yesterday. Yesterday we said these exact words. Yeah. I'm saying according to what we learned yesterday in Reb Meir. This is the list that we had yesterday in Reb Meir. 1, 2, 3, 4. Green is if you have extra pieces, extra meat that wasn't consumed, you make another maracha. Comes Reb Elazar mishum b'kapara. Oimer hayer Reb Meir. Reb Meir used to say, every oilish in the taisru, when you have leftover meat, oisel maracha b'fnei asma b'soidrun. Isn't that green? Is it anything different than this green over here that we learned yesterday? What? This is talking about oila. This is oila. Yesterday we were talking about tamid. Okay. So, and then second part is va'afilu b'Shabbos. Va'afilu b'Shabbos. I could make a flame. I can make a fire on Shabbos. Ask the Gemara. Question number 1 is my Kamashmalon. In part number 1, we're not going to talk about Shabbos now. Part number 1, that according to Reb Meir, you can make a fire on a weekday if you have extra meat. What is the chiddush? Tanina. We learned b'chol yoim hoyusham arba marachos. Every single day. What does b'chol yoim mean? Every single day, including Shabbos. B'chol yoim. Omer bavin loy nitzricha ela l'psulin. Okay, I'm coming to tell you a chiddush that Reb Meir didn't say. If you have a type of a carbon that's possible, that you shouldn't put on the mizbeach. But if you put it on, it doesn't come off. Im alu lo yerdu. So, and it wasn't consumed, don't take it off. Make another fire for it and let it go. You would think, since it's possible to begin with, it should have been on the mizbeach. And it wasn't consumed, so get rid of it. No. You put it on the mizbeach, deal with it. Put it on another one. V'davka shemoshel b'ma'ur. And that is because in a situation where the fire grabbed it already and already was singed and it's already in the process of being consumed. But if you throw it on top of a pile and it had nothing to do with the flame, and it's puzzle, it's puzzle and the fire didn't grab it yet, so get rid of it. Okay, so that's the Chiddush. Chiddush in part number 1, again, why does he repeat what Remeir, we thought he's repeating word for word what Remeir said yesterday. That if you have extra limbs that were consumed, make a new fire for it. He's not talking about regular korbanos. He's talking about puzzle korbanos, which I wouldn't know otherwise. Okay. Some say different. No. That is the 5th one that he's talking about. That's the 4th one he's talking about, a puzzle. If you have puzzle meat, then you... I would think. Huh? Yeah, on the main. Like, that's what Chacham say. Those who argue with Remeir, there's not 4 flames. Take it and put it right back. We had the issue, like on top of Amud Beis, on Amud Beis. In the morning, you have to redo everything, so you set aside the meat, but then you put it right back to where it goes. Even the kosher. Even the kosher meat. Forget the puzzle. Even the kosher meat. If you have a situation where the fire grabbed it, then you put it back. If not, it's already too late. Now the second part is Shabbos. Tanino. What is the great chiddush and what he's saying in the name of Remeir that on Shabbos you also make a fire? Look at the list here. Everybody agrees that you make a flame for the Ketores on Yom Kippur. What's the difference between Yom Kippur and Shabbos? If I could do it on Yom Kippur, I could do it on Shabbos. Tanina v'ayom chamesh. On the day of Yom Kippur, there are 5 ma'arachos, 5 bonfires. No. Omer Rav Acha bar Yaakov, Itzrich. So kedai dechamina hanamili heicha dechal yom haKippurim liyos achar Shabbos. I would think that the only time you can make a flame on Yom Kippur is when we're dealing with the tamid of Shabbos, and now you have leftover meat. You have to burn it on Yom Kippur, and the chelvei Shabbos craving b'Yom Kippur. There's a Mishnah in Shabbos, Masechta Shabbos, Mishnah in Masechta Shabbos Kuf Yud Gimel, and over there it brings actually machlokes. But let's go according to the Mandamar Bishmo, who says, very interesting. If you have chalavim, these are the parts that go onto the mizbeach, that were the Shabbos chalavim, you could put them on the mizbeach on Yom Kippur the following day on Sunday. Yeah, Yom Kippur falls out on a Sunday, and I have meat that wasn't consumed yet. It's Shabbos meat. I could put it on the mizbeach on Yom Kippur. But what about Tuesday meat? Tuesday meat, and Yom Kippur is Tuesday night. I cannot take the Tuesday meat and put it on the mizbeach. Only because it's Shabbos, I can be makriv it. So in Mela, that's what's going on over here. If Yom Kippur falls out after Shabbos, then you make another fire. I'll bench Shabbos, but if it's in the middle of the week, like Kamash Malon, that's what he's saying. Vafilu b'Shabbos. Don't think that it's only in a situation where Shabbos falls out right before Yom Kippur. It's even in the middle of the week. On a Tuesday, you also make a special flame for Yom Kippur. Says Rava, Omar Rava, Man hai, d'lo chayish lekimchei. Who's this individual who doesn't care, is not careful with his own flour, with the way he chews his flour, how it comes out? Habachol yoim tnan. Yeah? Habachol yoim tnan. It says mefurish. What, he missed the words. He's telling me maybe the pshat is only on a Sunday, but not on a Tuesday. It says b'chol yom. Every single day, there's X amount of flames. There's 4, and on Yom Kippur you add 1. That's even on a Tuesday. On a Tuesday, how many flames does Remeir say there are? 4. So on Yom Kippur there's 5. How did he miss that b'chol yom? I don't understand. He says Rava. Kimcha is flour. So you make your flour, you make it nice and fine. He doesn't care. He puts it in the machine. It comes out with stones, without stones. Like, you don't care about your product. You got to care about your product. Yeah, you got to be careful. You have to watch your words. You have to go back. You have a good pshat, great. Now go back and see if it fits into what Rameir says. Rameir says b'chol yom. But what's very interesting is that we are going to see that it's not such a mistake. That Rameir's Talmidim actually learned specifically, we'll see in a second, that he did not mean Shabbos. B'chol yom means the entire week besides Shabbos. It's not a mistake. He's talking about what he didn't. Rava realized that it says b'chol yom. He didn't realize it said b'chol yom. He knew it says b'chol yom. But you see a tremendous aside, Rabbi Yisai, tremendous aside. Many times, I know people. But did he have a uvda? You ask your wife. You say, "Can you go to the store? If you're going to the store already, could you buy ketchup?" And she shows up with shoe polish. Not Heinz, but the awesome ketchup. You know what I'm saying? That you could hear, yeah? It's like, what? What happened? You didn't hear? He says b'chol yom. He heard, not b'chol yom. B'chol yom, you could say, whoa, b'chol yom is every single day. No, I heard 6 days. B'chol yom doesn't mean 7, it means 6. There's such a thing you see all the time, these kind of things. If you're going to be dagging the words, so saying if Amoraim can make such machlokes, and so then we have to be lenient to the people around us as well. Okay. Oh, I have to repeat. Based on what happened before Pesach, when I said something about a blue bottle that it's not kosher for, I didn't think it was so good for the Seder, and the owner of the blue bottle company called up right after Shir and said, I own the company and I listened to the Shir and I'm not so happy. And the next day, somebody else sent red bottles of the same product. So Yossi was saying that the guy from Heinz Ketchup or Osem Ketchup, I don't know who, in this case Osem, is going to call up complaining. Okay. If he sends ketchup. Oh. So. Anti-Semit, okay. She doesn't watch. They do watch. All right. Fine. Ooh. That we're not repeating. All right. Zok the Gemara like this. Says the Gemara Kashya. It's a great Kashya. But again, you see, the word Kashya, as we said, from a Kashya Shtarpinisht, it's not the end of the world, because it's not really the biggest Kashya, because Chol Yom can mean all the normal days of the week. Any day that's available to make a flame, you make a flame. Shabbos is not a day, you make a flame. So you don't.
What's the fifth fire for Torah? Not for the leftover environment? That was like Torah.
Yeah. Everybody has that fifth flame. But Rameir's extra flame is the Ivarim. Everybody has the Ketores on Yom Kippur. That's not even a Shiloh. Shiloh is where do you come to number 3, Kiyum Eish, number 4, Ivarim, that sort of thing. Okay. Says Gemara, Upliga de Rav Huna, Rava, Bar Kapara, who say, Kol Yom, every single day is a day that you burn the extra meat. Every day. Even on Shabbos, meat that came from Friday meat, you burn it on Shabbos. The Talmud from Friday. So here we're going to see that Rav Huna argues. What's very interesting, he doesn't really argue. Only one Shita in him argues. The other Shita agrees. The Amar, Chilasoi, Doicha, Soifoi, Einoi, Doicha. So we have 6 lines here that we have to halt cup. Okay? That's code. Do not get scared. It's easy. Just have to halt cup. Very interesting words here. So first of all, we have to understand that when it comes to carbon tamid could be doicha 2 things. Anybody know what the 2 things are? It could, not you, not the guy that takes 450 daf tests. A carbon tamid could push off 2 things, Shabbos and Tuma. Both from the same word, b'moyadoi. It goes. You always have to bring a tamid every single day. On Shabbos, on Yom Kippur, you bring carbon tamid. But it also, this week's parsha. But also, if a person is tamid, there's no kohanim, you bring the carbon tamid betuma. Two things. Machlokes. I'm just okay. So listen to these words, very interesting words. Tchilasai doicha, soifai ene doicha. That's the statement Rameir made. What is he talking about? Tchilasai pushes off, the end doesn't push off. Now it could be two things. It could be Tumah pushes off, the beginning of Tumah pushes off, the end doesn't push off, or Shabbos, the beginning pushes off, doesn't push off. You're going to see a little bit of a knate here. The beginning gets pushed off, you push off whatever you're dealing with, the end doesn't get pushed off. Over here you have Rav Chizda. In white, he says he's referring to Tumah. The beginning of Tumah, the beginning of the process of carbon tamid, which is what? What? Shchita, pushes off Tumah. Very simple. Because that's the ikr of the tamid. I need to shech the carbon tamid. The end of the carbon tamid, what's the end of the carbon tamid? To bring the ivarim, to consume the ivarim on the mizbeach. That doesn't push off. So if you only have kohanim that are tamei, they don't bring it on the mizbeach. You already did what you need to do. You get your kapara, so to speak. You did the shchita, the zrika, whatever. The last part, ivarim on the mizbeach, does not push off tumah. However, the last part does push off Shabbos. That's in little green over here. So Rav Chizda is talking about Tumah. Rabbah says Rav Huna is talking about Shabbos. Yeah. We don't care. I mean, we don't have a choice right now. Yeah, everything else that's neged to the thing, there's no isser in those things. You're allowed to do zrik on Shabbos. No, you're not over isser. Burning something on a flame, that's a problem. So up until that point, you don't have it. Shechting an animal is awesome in deraisa. You're not shechting an animal on Shabbos. For the carbon tamid, you're allowed. So the beginning part is doicha, but we're not talking Shabbos. In him, we're talking about tumah. So the first part pushes off tumah. That's tchilasai doicha. The tumah of the shchita pushes off tumah. Soifai and doicha, the end, which is a varim on the mizbeach, does not, ein doicha, if you're tummy, does not push off. However, Shabbos gets pushed off. Shabbos gets pushed off. Is that like Rava and Bar Kapara? Yes. Rava and Bar Kapara say that you push off Shabbos for a carbon tamid that was made on Friday, you burn it on Shabbos. So this actually is good with, Rav Chizda is good with Rava and Bar Kapara. Rava, Rav Chizda's father-in-law. Yeah, okay, fine. This is where the Gemara is asking a question from Rabbah. Interesting. Oh, it's a raya against the argument of Rav Huna. Well, it depends how you look at it. If you go with Rabbah, yeah, Rav and Bar Kapara argue with Rav Huna. Now, what does Rabbah say? Rabbah says, Tchilasei doicha, very interesting. This you get from Rashi. You see, Taisis Dibra Mazel Tchilasei doicha v'soifei and doicha. Explains it a little nicer, easier. Rabbah says we're talking about Shabbos. Shabbos and not Shabbos. So what does Tchilasi mean? If you started the carbon tamid on Shabbos, go ahead, do it. But if you started the carbon tamid on Friday, it doesn't push off Shabbos. A Friday carbon does not push off Shabbos. Tchila v'soif is Shabbos and Friday. If you're talking about the end of the animal, which started out on a Friday, it doesn't push off Shabbos. Yeah. Yeah. So again, Rabbah says we're talking about whether or not Shabbos gets pushed off by the carbon tamid. And he says, yes. The carbon tamid that you bring on a Shabbos pushes off Shabbos. Because it's a Shabbos carbon tamid. But the carbon tamid that you started out on Friday, you should have consumed all the meat on Friday. You had no business leaving it to Shabbos. So that doesn't push off Shabbos. Don't push it off. So not only are they talking about two different things, but the taich, the word tchila v'soif is a completely different. We're talking about over here. It makes a lot more sense in Rav Chisda. Tchila v'soif means the beginning. I shouldn't say it makes more sense to me at least. The beginning of the shchita and the end of the carbon. The beginning of the carbon, then the carbon. Over here, he's talking about days. Tchila means Shabbos. Soif means Friday. But he's talking about Shabbos. So it comes out like this. What did we just say? We just said that if you have a carbon that you start off on a Friday, you cannot bring it on Shabbos. What happened to Chol Yom? Chol Yom, you burn carbonis all day long, every day. So he argues on Rava. Rabba learned the word Chol Yom, shoe polish, something completely different. He said Chol Yom, I meant 7 days a week. No, Kol Yom only means 6 days a week, and not including Shabbos. Well, it could mean if you started on Shabbos. But if you have a Friday carbon, you cannot consume it on Shabbos. That is how we see from this Gemara, there's Mechulik. Naftali, come here to the front. I want you to be mazbeh this Gemara, not to everybody. Did you lose me? I'm doing it again then. No, not for you. For the Orient. Seriously. We have a shita of Bar Kapara and Rava. They say that every single day of the week, even Shabbos, you consume the meat of the tamid. It doesn't matter what tamid, even the tamid of Friday. The tamid of Friday, you burn on Shabbos. And all the Gemara is going to say now is that Rav Huna argues on that, and he says Friday meat is not burned on Shabbos. Where do you see it? Right over here. Because he said a statement. He says, Tchilasai daicha, soifai eni daicha. The beginning pushes off, whatever it is, Shabbos or Tumah, we don't know. The end doesn't push off. Rabbi explains, what did Rav Huna mean? He meant, Tchilasai, if you're going to bring a carbon on Shabbos, it pushes off Shabbos. But if you're going to bring the meat that you did on Friday, the carbon on Friday, it does not push off Shabbos. That's an argument to Rav and Bar Kapara who say that it does push off Shabbos. You could take meat from Friday and burn it on Shabbos. Now, let's see it inside. Now you could say it. Naftali. Get over it, Naftali! Next time. Zog the Gemara, Uplige the Rav Huna. How? Well, what? You're asking what everybody's thinking, that at the end of the day you could burn on Shabbos. But Kol Yom means, because the Kol Yom, but Kol Yom means that no matter what, even meat from Friday, you could bring on Shabbos. That's what it means. Kol Yom. This flame is that you can't start saying, well, he didn't mean Friday meat, he meant only, that's what Rav was telling him. What's the answer of Ravin over here? Of Ravacha Bar Yaakov? Who was it? He's like, oh, he didn't mean Ravacha Bar Yaakov. He didn't mean Yom Kippur, he meant this. He didn't mean the Tuesday, he meant, no, Kol Yom means every time, every situation, you could always burn the carbon tamid meat. So he yelled at him. I'm going to yell at you now. You're not careful with your kemach. You're not careful with your kemach. I hear. Okay, we're not going to go into the... Fine. Gufa. So anyway, so let's just read the words. Uplige the Rav Huna. I was in Rav Huna. You hear these words. The Omar Tchilasai Doicha. Soifayani Doicha. So the Gemara obviously is only talking in Rabbah now. Tchilasai means a carbon that you brought on Shabbos pushes off Shabbos. Soifayani Doicha, a carbon that you bring on Erev Shabbos, does not push off Shabbos. Okay. Gufa. Omar Rav Huna. Tamid. Tchilasai Doicha. Soifayani Doicha. Mayani Doicha. Now the Gemara just goes into it. What does it mean? It pushes off. It doesn't push off. I'm sorry, Esther. This is one of those difficult Yoma dafim, but we're almost done. Literally, a few lines. Tchilasei doicha, soifa eni doicha. Ma eni doicha. Rav Chisda Amar doicha is Shabbos, ve'eni doicha is Tumah. Rav Chisda is talking about Tumah, nothing to do with Shabbos. Talking about Tumah. That what? That the beginning part of the carbon. What's the first part of the carbon? The shchita pushes off Shabbos. Where am I? That the beginning pushes off Tumah, but the end part of the carbon does not push off Tumah. You don't do it bit Tumah. Devora. V'Rava Omar, or Rabba, you have to be Goyers Rabba. V'Rabba Omar, doicha es atuma, ve'eino doicha es ha-Shabbos. Omar Leah Abai l'Rava. Lididoch kasha or Rav Chizda kasha. So it's a very, very simple question that Abai asks. The answer is very, very interesting. Basically, he's asking, very simple. It says, B'moyadoi. B'moyadoi, I learn that you do a carbon tamid, even if you're betuma. Even if all the kohanim are tamid, you bring a carbon tamid. You also learn, you bring a carbon tamid on Shabbos. So basically, he's asking, according to you, that it says that you don't push off tuma. Why? It says b'moyadoi. According to you, it says you don't push off Shabbos. It says b'moyadoi. He's using the same word. What are you going to do with this word? And they both use the word, but limited. Why limited? Either Tumah all the way and Shabbos all the way. Why are you divide? Lidi doch kashom, he tells Rabbah, Maishna Tumah dichsib b'moyadoi, va'afilu b'tumah. You're telling me, b'moyadoi, you have to, it's doicha carbon, Shabbos not b'moyadoi, va'afilu Shabbos. So too Shabbos, you should always push off the carbon tamid that you brought, even if you shefted it on Friday, you should be able to bring it on Shabbos because it says b'moyadoi. Well, Rav Chizda Kash, same question. You're learning that it pushes off Shabbos. So that should push off Tumah. And you see over here, I just did over here, just to fear out. According to Rabbah, that the Erev Shabbos carbon you do not bring on Shabbos, but it does push off Tumah. Tumah does push off. You still bring the Ivarim B'Tumah. Why? Why is Tumah, you're saying, because it says Mo'yada and you have this green guy, but you have a red guy when it comes to Shabbos. Why red? Just flow with it. B'Mo'yada, you should do, there's no Shabbos. B'Mo'yada. Omar lei, loy lidi kashya, v'lo Rav Chizda kashya. No, says Rav, it's not a kasha. Why? Lidi loy kasha, explain to you. Soifoi kitchilasoi, very pashut. I have a yesoid, a concept, that the end is like the beginning. Whatever you do, if it's mutter to do in the beginning, mutter to do at the end. It's also to do in the beginning, also to do at the end. Oh, listen to this chak. Tuma, we're going to go to the sponsor later. Tuma, the tchilasoi bar mitcha. Tuma hu. Soifinami dachi. Shabbos the tchilasoi la bar mitcha Shabbos hu. Soifinami loy dachi. So he says like this: when it comes to Tumah, I'm allowed to start out the carbon B'Tumah. We said you're allowed to start out the Shechita B'Tumah. So then I finish it. The end is like the beginning. But Shabbos, he says, beautiful. It's a chap. It's a little bit of chap. You might not like it so much. Chap. This carbon, this Friday carbon, can you do it on Shabbos? No. It's a Friday carbon. As far as it's a Friday carbon, I never had a tchila. So then I can't do the end. When was the beginning of this carbon, the shechita of this carbon on Friday? Ben Arbaim, whenever it was, Friday. So I can't finish it. It's a Friday carbon. It's not this carbon was also for me on Shabbos because it's a Friday carbon. So in Mela, I can't finish it. The Tumah that I started out, I was allowed to start the Tumah. I had a heter to start it. Then I'm allowed to finish it. The Rav Chizda lo kashu. Oh, sponsored. Turning of the Daf, Amud Beis, sponsored Shidduch Fest, the Devora Bas Leah Gittel, all main, and Devora Bas Suri for Shidduch. And Leah Nishmas, all the Meron victims, and rafua shlema for all the Meron victims, and the MDY Chabura is truly one big family. Turning of the Daf sponsorships are almost over. Dai b'chakima b'remiza. Says the Gemara, L'Rav Chizda le'kasha. Soifet t'chilasoi leslei. He doesn't hold of this whole thing of Soifet t'chilasoi. However, Shabbos, the hutra hi b'tzibur, Soifoi nami dachi. Shabbos, which is completely permitted, completely allowed, therefore, the end part, bringing the Ivarim on the Mizbeach, is completely mutter. In other words, Hashem said, there's no problem, there's no Shabbos now. When it comes to carbon tamid, tamid is gone. Yes, I could take those Ivarim, I should have done it on Friday, and I did this, and there's no reason for you to do it today. What right do you have? But once Shabbos disappears, it disappears. I can do whatever I want. That's if you say hutra. Tchuya means it's pushed off. We gave you a heter belas breira b'doichak. Hashem didn't want you to do it. If there's no other kohen and you're all tamei, no, you'll bring it. But I didn't remove the isser of tumah. So as long as I could figure it out, finagle my way around the tumah, I have to look for a kohen. I have to constantly knock on doors. Is there any kohen here that's not tamei? I have to make an effort. If it's hutra, it's hutra. It's not hutter. It's not completely mutter. It's overridden. It's good lashon from the Artscroll. Overridden. In other words, it's there, but I'm going to let it slide right now. So I'm going to let it slide. I have to be careful what I'm going to let slide and let everything. It's not a free for all. So Mela, Soivinami Dachi. The shchita, which I need, and that's what the kapara comes from. Dachi, that pushes off. That pushes off. Then you could do the betuma. Soivai, the lavik kapara, like dachi. But the empire, they varim. It's not such a big deal. So if somebody is tamei, he cannot do it. What's neged to us? L'maisa lahalacha, for instance. Very interesting shilas. There was just recently, there was a woman that was nifter in Chicago, and her daughter told me, she's telling me after she was nifter, she says, my mom, she was going into labor, this person that was telling me this, she said, my mom went to get the, what is it called, the cells, the platelet, the cells that they do today, the cell therapy, stem cells. Her mother was going to the hospital on Shabbos, because she's a chayil sheyesh ber sakana, she was nifter at the end from cancer. So she decided to make a detour and grab the stem cells from this lady's house. And I said, I don't know if you should say over the story after she's nifter. It doesn't sound so good to me. I'm not a Rav or anything, but you have had to go to the hospital. You have had to start driving around the neighborhood and picking up stem cells on Shabbos. So she said, yeah, because if she wouldn't, then it would cause her aggravation and she could be nifter earlier. I said, here, whatever, okay, fine. But there's similar shilas that I saw in the Rishonim. In terms of, there's a chayil sheyesh b'sakana, are you allowed to be mechal Shabbos, things that are not essential? Yes, essential. Rashi says no. And the Maggid Mishnah says yes. And some want to say that it has to do with this shayil of hutra or tchuya. If it's tchuya, then you have to be careful what you're doing. It's not an essential thing. The guy's not going to die if you don't write something down on a piece of paper. But if it's hutra, listen, it's a free-for-all. The other shayla, very interesting shayla, the Rashba talks about. But you're doing for him, for that. I hear. But listen to this. This is what you might understand even more. The Rashba, they remove it and maybe they put it in the freezer. I don't know how it works. But one of these zachan. But anyway, but listen to this. A very interesting shayla I saw. We got to move because we're done with time here, believe it or not. But Rashba brings a shayla. What? That she's the doctor. Levi says a coach, but it's anything to make her feel good. We warm up water. That we had, that's different than Yeledis. Levi's talking about a Yeledis, you pick up a doula. I thought they actually sometimes deliver them. Okay, fine. But here's a shayla, very interesting shayla, real quickly. What if you have a dead carcass? You have a horse that just died. And you have a person that's chayil sheyesh b'sakana. The question is, do you shecht an animal for this chayil sheyesh b'sakana? Or no, he has meat right over here. You have meat. You have a cow that dropped dead. It's in a vela. Should I shecht an animal for this chayil sheyesh b'sakana? I'm allowed to shecht in Shabbos, he's chayil sheyesh, but I don't really have to because he has in the vela here, which I do. It's also, I think, totally in that idea of hutra tchuya. Fine. Zog the Gemara. Very nice sugi here. Itmar, hamachabe eish machto umenoira. You have the coals on the shovel. These are the coals for the ketores on a weekday. On a weekday, you hear this? You're not allowed to put out a flame on a weekday. What's the situation? It's a riddle, yeah? The flame of a mizbeach. You have a flame, it's on Tuesday, you're not allowed to put it out. So we have a machlokes here. And also that of the menorah. Abai Omar, hamachabe eish machto umenoira, Abai Omar chayav Rav Omar Potter. It's awesome in the Raisa. So what's Rav saying, Potter? The kabi b'roisha yisham mizbeach. If it happened, he put out the flame on top of the mizbeach. The kulei alma loy pligi the chayav. It's on the side, but it's on the mizbeach. It's chayav. Everybody agrees. Ki pligi the achtei. He took a coal from the mizbeach, put it down on the ground. The kabi, and he put it out on the ground. By Omar chayav. Eisham mizbeachu. Rav Omar patur. Kivin the natko. It's detached already. It's not part of the mizbeach anymore. When it's on the mizbeach, it's part of the mizbeach, then it's the right to put it out. But once you remove it from the mizbeach, it's no longer part of the mizbeach. Stamakol. Real quickly, the other day we had on Memhei, I think it was, Taisis brings over there, how could I take the coals and sweep them into the sewer system? I'm putting out the coals. This is the Raisa. So the answer is either they're not coals anymore, there's no flame, or what else did he say over there? Nasa mitzvasa, he says. Nasa mitzvasa. Once the mitzvah is ready to perform. Okay, we'll see something similar here. If you take off a coal off the mizbeach and you extinguish it, chayav, that goes according to who? Kiman kabaya. Not like Rava. And Rabbeinu Chanal on the side says, so what's the problem? Because the Allah is like Rava. Like Rav Nachman and Rava, both of them. And over here it's going to come out like Rav Nachman and Abaye and Rav Nachman. Doesn't work. Says the Gemara, Afilu Teimek Rava. Hasam lo intik limitzvasa. When you didn't do the mitzvah, so it remains the fire of the mizbeach. Says Rashi, Ishim mizbeach. Hacha intik limitzvasa. It's already removed it for the mitzvah. Ikan Amri, the achtei ha'ara v'kabia. If you removed it on the ground and you put it out, the kulei amalei pligi the potter. It's gone. It's finished. It's away from the mizbeach. Even Abaye says you potter. Keep ligi the kabi brushes in mizbeach. The question is, you removed it from the flame, you put it on the side of the mizbeach, but it's on top of the mizbeach. Abaye Omar chayav eish mizbeach. Look, it's still mizbeach fire. Rav Omar potter kivin the natko. You removed it. It's no longer eish mizbeach. Elo Adam Rav Nachman. Now we have to reconcile Rav Nachman. Adam Rav Nachman hamori gachaz malgam mizbeach v'kibo chayav kiman loy kabai v'loy karava. The whole machlok is on top of the mizbeach. On the floor down there, we never had a shaila. So why is he saying the chayiv? Says Gemara, hasam lo intik lemitzvasa, hacha intik lemitzvasa. If he didn't do a mitzvah yet and he put it on the floor of the azara, it's still eisham mizbeach because he didn't do anything with it. But over here, where Abaye and Rav are talking about, it was intik lemitzvasa and already done the mitzvah. So melo, that's why you can say yipater. Hadran alach taraf bekalfi. Hadran alach taraf bekalfi. Hadran alach taraf bekalfi. Have a wonderful day. Shemalish mavakim b'sich Adonai. Adonai shema b'kurli. Dinah zavish shabaz l'kol l'chanor. Yoma b'nei tzishmar yad Adonai miyamol. Yuchas l'chol l'manti v'lay. Gizan gizan oshid v'chol. Shila Adonai shema b'kurli.